Gunnerman Group is a go.
Yes! Not just a startup, an upstart.
Gotta get going.
Gotta be good.
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 Growth is the goal. How do we do that?
I talked to UPS. They'll help us out. New technology, smart advice. We focus on the business, and they take care of the logistics.
UPS.
Good going.
We get good. That's great.
Great. Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
I love logistics.
Welcome to another edition of Z360. I'm your host, David Sunsup. Coming up, Akron women's basketball wore pink jerseys for its Play for K game against Toledo last week. We'll learn about women's track and field team high jumper Claudia Garcia-Jal, and Akron Rifle prepares for the NCAA qualifier.
You know, Coach Yao, former head coach at North Carolina State for many years, a pioneer of women's basketball, passed away a couple of years back to breast cancer. And every Division I, Division II, Division III team has a game that you know, we're going to try to raise money and awareness for breast cancer. And I think our kids have done a good job of getting out in the community and try to raise some money. And you know, it's a terrible disease, and any way that we could go out there and help people understand the disease and mostly raise money for it, because at some point, somebody in our family, someone that we know, will eventually have breast cancer until we spend enough money to try to find, you know, the cure for that. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's just important that, you know, we are athletes in a Division I university, and there are opportunities for us to help others, being student athletes. Any opportunity that we have to help, you know, a bigger cause, something in our community, we should take the opportunity to do so.
Playing this game was definitely a good feeling. Seeing Carmen overcome such a difficult process, it was hard for all of us. Back in 2011, she found out she had cancer for 5 years, and just knowing and seeing how strong she was to overcome it, and it just made me want to come out today and just play my heart out and give everything I have for her, because, you know, she stayed with us and she stayed strong and took care of us when she was at the lowest point in her life. So playing this game was an emotional game, but definitely want to play hard for her.
This game means a lot to me because of playing for cancer and playing for a cure. But most importantly, the person I was playing with playing for was Lori Bazanson, and she's been my mom's best friend since they went to high school together. They lived together in college, and now she lives kind of in our backyard. And is our neighbor. Very, very, very good friends. Would consider her my second mom. She's been through thyroid cancer, and then last year she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she is a survivor, and she was here today, so it meant a lot to me. Definitely very, very important person in my life.
Akron Rifle just won its second straight WIRC championship last weekend in its final year in the conference. Here's how the Zips are preparing for this weekend's NCAA qualifier in Columbus.
They're feeling pretty good about it, and you know, even though you know, it was a win, it was a little bit of a sloppy win, but you know, a W is a W, and we'll take what we can get. You know, however, it was a little bit of an eye opener for them that you know, going into this weekend, they're going to have to turn it up a notch. And so if anything stumbling right about then, even though we ended up with a win, which is great, you know, it's another conference title for the team. It was a little bit of a wake-up call, and they've heard it. So going into this weekend, we're going to be ready.
I was pretty excited about it. Although I ended up winning the air rifle division overall, I still know that walking off the line, there's a lot I could have done better. I'm not going to put it behind, so I'm going to be still training this just as hard this week, if not harder. I know what I need to work on, and going into this weekend, I'm going to feel confident after practice this week.
This week we've been focusing mostly on just refining our skills and what we're working on to really polish up how we're doing in order to perform our best at the NCAA qualifier. The biggest thing at the NCAA qualifier is the pressure that we put on ourselves, so being able to deal with that and having a good plan to focus and deal with pressure.
a saying that a lot of my athletes hear over and over again, and that is we're not going into the small bore position or into the air gun division going to shoot a 60-shot match. What we're going to do is we're going to go into either one of those, and there's 60 shots with either gun, but we're going to go in there and we're going to shoot 60 one-shot matches. So the amount of effort that they're putting into every single shot has to be the highest level, the highest perfection, the highest level of concentration and determination that they're going to get that shot in the middle every single time. And then when they're done with that shot, they got to crank it back and start all over again. And they have to do that 60 times in a row. And that requires an amazing amount of concentration and physical ability.
Claudia Garcia Jiao came to Akron all the way from Spain to finish up her college career. The senior high jumper has made a big impact, and she's already soared to the top of the Zips record books.
I had a pretty tough year in Spain, like the last 2 years. So this was the perfect experience for me because I had some trouble with my last coach. We had different ideas about practice. So this is actually like what I really needed.
She's a transfer, so I only had her for 1 year. She's international, so maybe me being international as well help her with the transition to the US collegiate system. We definitely compete much more often, so it's harder for Europeans to get used to back-to-back, week after week competing. And you know, so I explained her that some of the meets that we compete we can treat as a practice, and she doesn't have to focus as much on jumping high, just having 1 week as a fun week and a practice week. She doesn't have to take each week so serious and focus on competing on the highest level. And I think that helped her a lot, just being a little bit looser and don't get so stiff at the competition, just enjoying it.
From the approach to the last steps on the curve, you know, and then about the takeoff, we do a lot of drills. But it's not about like only jumping, as I did in Spain. Like I could take maybe like 30 jumps. Here we do like a lot of drills that I can kind of like set it in my brain, you know, like it's about networks that when it's time to jump, I actually know what I have to do.
Starting with you know, lifting, very specific weightlifting program. Right now in spring, it's more explosive. So starting with that, something that is simulate the jumping in a little bit environment, and then a lot of bounding, and of course jumping from shorter approach, 2-step, 4-step, 6-step. So a combination of a lot of different things.
That moment, honestly, I think it was like just the natural result of all these hours of practice. I mean, it couldn't have been like any other way. I've been working so hard, so again, I think this is like what I really needed. Like all this sense that I belong to something, you know, because track it can be okay, individual sport, but if you don't have that support, you know, that all your teammates cheering for you, and I think this helps a lot, honestly.
That wraps up this edition of Z360. Tune in next week as we'll hear from the new inductees into the Akron Sports Hall of Fame. Thanks so much for watching. I'm David Suntup for GoZips.com.